Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lou. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lou will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lou.
Good morning. It's Monday, guys. Welcome back to Breakthrough with Lou. What are you going to do this week that's going to make a difference? Let's find out. Got a question for you this morning. Are you playing small? And you might go, well, what do you mean, Lou? What do you mean, am I playing small? Well, do you ever find yourself in life going, I was meant for more? Did you ever hit that point where you look in the mirror and go, wow, I thought I would be further ahead by now. This is not what I thought my life would look like at 27, 37, 47, 57, 67, 77, whatever age you're at. Do you ever look in the mirror and go, wow, yeah, I just don't think I'm doing my full potential? Do you ever feel that you're meant for more and you're not doing it? Well, then you could be suffering from playing small syndrome. And the truth of the matter is most people go through their lives playing a whole lot smaller than what's within them, what their power is, what that personal force, that personal power is, that God-given talent that you might be letting ride by the side because you're just not confident enough that you can do it. Or you think that, well, if I go, I don't want to be one of those people because my friends will judge me or my family will judge me, or, I might feel like people feel I'm over the top. Wow. Okay, let's get a little bit over the top. What if you had this fake ceiling on your success and on your life, and you go, well, to be that kind of person to be up there, I'd have to be over the top. Well, that's a really good metaphor, because sometimes where you ceiling yourself out, you're smacking yourself in the forehead because you're not going over the top. And you know what? I'm going to put it forth very straightforward right here and now. If people don't like you because you're over the top, you need a new peer group. Okay? If your family and friends really are that put off that you are motivated to do something bigger and greater than ever before, hear me out here. You don't need them. You don't need them in your everyday life. Doesn't mean you abandon your family. Doesn't mean you totally wipe out all your friends. Either you bring them up with you or you find a better peer group. Okay, you can still love your family. It doesn't mean you go home and tell your family, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you're not at the level I'm at of motivation. And people are like, oh, this sounds judgy, Lou. All of a sudden you're at a new level you're too good for. Well, okay, but in a sense you are too good for it. You're too good for the BS, okay? Once you get over the top, you're too good for the BS, and that's not what you think it is. It's belief system. If you come from a family that's like, well, no one ever in our families ever done that before. You just, that's meant for those rich people or those motivated people, or, you've heard it all the time. And I make that voice, but y'all have somebody in your world that's like that. Well, and they shoot down your dreams. And sometimes it's not even that negative. My big sister, she used to call me her little buddy, so the nickname stuck. But I'd have a great idea as a kid, and she'd look at me and go, oh buddy, don't set yourself up for that. Don't. It's not going to end well. And she did it out of caring. Wasn't out of, trying to destroy dreams, but I'd go, yeah, you're right. Better play it safe. Bull crap. Play it safe. Okay, you want to go to your deathbed going, well, I kind of played it safe all my life. Woohoo, God, what do you think? What do you think, how do you think I did with this miracle of life you gave me? I think your creator, your God, however you call him, might say, you kind of threw it away. What did you do? Well, I wanted to have kids, but oh my God, they could fall and get hurt. Or, people have actually even lost children. And my heart bleeds for people that have. But are you going to just not have kids because somebody may have lost a child and you go, well, it's better to never have one, so that could never happen? Okay? Your chances, thank God, are very slim of losing a child. I don't know what I would do. I don't even, my heart goes out to those folks that do, but don't think that I would have said, well, I'm not going to have a child because something could happen to them, or they could be sick, or don't ever have a relationship because you can get your heart broken. No kidding. Okay? I'm sure everybody out there, unless you're never dated before or you're living under a rock, has had your heart broken at some point. And you go, wow. For a minute you might go, that wasn't worth it. But then you go, okay, is a life of loneliness worth it, of seclusion? Okay? So think of it that way. What else? Oh, I'd like to start a business, but 90% of all small businesses fail, so I'm not going to do it. What if you're that 10%? What if you work harder? What if you work 90% harder than the other 90% that failed? And all of a sudden you go, wow, I'm one of them that succeeded. Okay? And what if you don't? And you go, oh, I'll never try that again? Or do you go, I learned what not to do next time? That's the difference. I learned what not to do next time is the winner's creed. The loser's limp is, well, I'll never do that again. And you might say, oh, loser's a strong word. Oh, well, if the word loser hits you in the belly, you better step up. Okay? Not saying you're a loser, not a loser, I don't know. That's for you to judge. I'm not here to judge you. The only person that's a loser is the person that doesn't try and tries to find ways to cheat a system or get a lawsuit or, steal something from somebody. That's a loser. And, some people out there going, oh my God, he's using the L word and somebody might be offended. Well, guess what? If you're stealing from people, you're living off the system and you don't need. Now, for the folks that need assistance and really have handicaps or something, it's different. But if you've found a way to live off the system, cheat other people, you're a loser. You're a dirtbag. Step up. Turn your life around. That person can turn around too. Have you ever? And I heard a story. Tony Robbins tells it really good. He talks about going to his first seminar that his dad had this friend that was like an uncle to him. And the guy was pretty darn successful. So when he was a teenager, he sent him to go over and help him move some furniture or something. I'm paraphrasing a little. But he goes over and, he's helping the guy. And the guy's like, wow, man, Tony, you're a good worker. I like this. Of course, he's a big kid. And Tony looks at him and says, well, yeah, but my dad said you were a loser before. What changed? And the guy kind of stepped back and for a second was a little put off. He goes, no, you know what? You're right. You're right. I went to a seminar. And he said, I stopped trying to figure the easy way out and learned how to do the work that it takes. And Tony says, oh, can you take me to this seminar? And he said, I could. He said, will you? He said, no. He said, well, why not? He's thinking, oh, you got all this money, da-da-da-da. He said, you got to earn it. He said, if you don't pay for it, you don't pay the dues, you don't pay the fee, you don't pay this. People who don't pay attention. And I was like, what a cool lesson that was. That, anybody can turn it around, number one, because the guy was such a loser before that, according to Tony's dad. But he could turn it around, but he also taught a lesson that it's not about what you can get free or how you can maneuver it as much as it is how can you step into it, okay? How can you step into playing larger? See, we talked about this, the whole purpose of the show this morning is stop playing small. Are you good at something? Type it in the chats. Are you good at something that you're not doing? Because you're afraid somebody's going to judge you or go, oh, yeah, slow down. You don't be that, take it easy, have a beer. That's the curse of death. Don't do that to your loved ones, okay? If somebody in your family goes, I want to run with a business idea, or they're getting in a relationship, and maybe you just, I wish they would date so-and-so instead. go date this guy from church or that guy from school, or date that girl because she comes from a good family or something. Don't shoot people down. Now, if somebody's headed for a total crash zone, you might want to say something that, okay, you don't want to date the meth head on the corner, or you don't want to date the heroin addict, that lives 2 doors down. It's, don't date somebody out of pity or something. You might want to bring something to somebody's attention if they're totally train wrecking and you care about them. But if somebody's got a dream and a vision and you go, oh, that's kind of big, I better keep them safe, you're hurting them. You're hurting that person. Don't do it. Don't do it. You might say, hey, are you prepared to take on this work? This is what it's really going to take. And now that's not hurting somebody. That is helping somebody get geared up for what they're going to do. But don't sit there and go, oh, you can't do that. You're not strong enough. You're not tall enough. You're not personable enough. Anybody can become stronger. Most people can't necessarily become taller unless they're not done growing. But that doesn't matter. What's the guy's name? Spuds Warren. He was going to be the best all-time shooter or something in basketball. And everybody's like, dude, you're 5'3". And he turned out to be one of the best because he broke through that. So, don't let your limitations, your small thoughts hold you back. That's what today's about, is really get that fire going. Is to, where are you playing small already? Where are you in life playing small today? You might go, no, I'm pretty successful. I'm doing good. Doing good. Are you doing awesome, amazing, outstanding? Well, no. I mean, that's, people like this, my boss is outstanding. I mean, he leads this whole team. I'm just one of the team. There you go. You're playing small. Okay. And you might go, well, I'm not the boss yet. Okay. But as long as you say yet, you're okay. And then go, how do I do it? If you go, well, I'll never be a boss, or I'll never be a CEO, or I'll never own my own company, or I'll never be as good as Tony Robbins or Coach Lou, or, I hear it all the time with the OCR races. Okay, now I'm not 20 years old, guys, obviously. And people are like, I could never do that. I could never do that. And I'm like, dude, you're 20 years old. Chick, you're 20 years old. Or you're 25, or you're 30. What do you mean you could never do that? I didn't even run an OCR race. I didn't know what an OCR race was when I was 25. Okay, but now I run them pretty regularly. Plus, it's going back into season. Thank God it's going back into race season, because I'm ready. I'm not really ready. I'm ready to get started to training. But I don't want to play small. I want to do that trifecta this year. Okay, that's the type of thing that's different. I could say, well, maybe 10 years ago, the trifecta race would have been a little bit more, I might have been a more adept to it then. Oh, I could break my hand or something in it. Well, guess what? I've broken hands before. And yeah, some mornings I pay for it. Woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, yeah. When did I do that one? That stupid move. And then I look back and go, it wasn't a stupid move. It was an experience in life. I learned what not to do, maybe. And I also learned that don't let anything hold you back. But my point is, where are you playing small today? I want to, you guys, as you're watching these replays and everything, communicate with me. What area are you playing small? What area do you need help in? Okay, because don't forget, we have Coach Lou Inner Circle. Click. CLIC, Coach Lou Inner Circle. Get in the click, guys. That is important stuff to keep you accountable, to keep you going. Check it out on the site at CoachLou.com. I really want to bring you into our family to keep growing, to do stuff like this, but to interact more and to create a community that goes, we ain't playing small. We're not shutting up. We're not shutting up. Don't shut up. Don't go, my opinion might offend somebody. Now, don't go and be nasty and rude and everything else, and make sure that your opinion is based in some fact. Yeah, sometimes people are so out of whack that opinion isn't based in fact, and that's when it becomes problematic, guys. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to feel differently on a subject than I do, okay? Except for playing small. You're not allowed to believe you're supposed to play small. No, seriously. But whatever you believe at your soul level, and I'm going to caution you in today's world, don't give up what you believe at a soul level to just take a side or to, prove a point. Okay? Back up a second and go, what is the reality before you go spouting off at the mouth and saying something? Look at something and go, what's necessary? Okay, we're living in a time currently of some things need to be necessarily handled. Okay, it's not always easy decisions for country leadership, company leaderships right now. There's a lot of tumultuous things going on out there, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made that there's going to be a side that goes, yeah, I support this, and there's going to be a side that goes, I don't support this, and that's okay. It's okay to have differences. My point is, are you playing small? Whatever your beliefs are, but make sure that they're based in logic before you spout off at the mouth. That is something that's going to be very important. So many people are saying so much in the media and this, that, and the other. Then you ask them, well, why do you hate so-and-so? Why do you feel this way? Well, I don't know, just because my neighbor does and my friends do. Well, youngins out there, listen up. Just because your teacher said it or your friends think that there's a certain, do your own research. And oldens, I like that. All of you guys, before you speak and spout, do your research and figure out what's truth and what's truth to you, and where are you playing small. Where do you need to play large? A lot of people are playing large on social media and everything else, and they're still not going anywhere in life. Where do you need to step up? Sometimes it's not in the social media picture, or it's not in the public eye. Because oftentimes I've heard this from so many of my mentors. It's what you practice in private that designs the person you are in public. Okay? If you play small in private, you're going to play really small in public. And if you play big in public, but you play very small in private, that's like building on quicksand. That's going to implode because the truth is going to come out. But where are you playing small that you really need to step up? Is it in a relationship? Is it in your business? Is it in your parenting? Is it in your job? Is it in your body? Oh my God, this is a huge one. Okay? So many people should go on a diet, should exercise, should take better care of themselves. And all they're doing is shoulding all over themselves. Okay? And what you should do and what you're doing are two different things. What you say you're doing and what you're walking the talk, if it's two different things, make it match. And you're like, well, what do you mean? Well, if you gotta talk, you're talking. And you gotta walk, you're not walking. Start walking it, okay? You might say, well, it's a big walk. It's a big climb. It's a mountain to climb. That's okay. You're not going to go, okay, I'm going to succeed, and tomorrow you're at the top of the mountain, or you're over the top. But if you don't put in the over-the-top effort, you don't put in the over-the-top belief, you don't put in the over-the-top energy and mindset, you're not going to get over the top. Okay? If you go, well, I'd like to do this, but I'm not that kind of person, you just smalled yourself. If you go, I like that girl, but I'm kind of quiet and I don't know, I'm awkward, I don't know how to do dating, you just smalled yourself. And you go, well, what if I go talk to that girl and she rejects me? I'll go talk to her again. And da-da-da-da. Now, in the old days, my grandparents used to talk about people used to throw pebbles at the window of the person they wanted to get to know. These days, don't be throwing pebbles at somebody's window out front. They'll take you to jail for stalking. There's probably better ways to communicate. Just saying, that one might weird somebody out. But you know what? They didn't throw one pebble and go, oh, nothing happened, see you later. Okay, a lot of us wouldn't be here because Grandma and Grandma wouldn't have hooked up. Okay? So it's having that kind of resilience. How many pebbles are you willing to toss at the window? Proverbially, don't do it. Do a phone call. Do something nice. Send roses. No, seriously. How many pebbles are you willing to throw before you go, oh, I just give up. I'm not that kind of person, or I don't deserve this in my life? Ooh, that's quite a question. All right, guys. I think you got my point here. Stop playing small. Start playing full out. And that doesn't mean go be a phony, a fake, or over the top, or hey, how you doing? I used to work with an auctioneer years ago, and if he ever sees this, he'll cringe. But first thing he would do is down south in Miami. And hey, I'm so-and-so, here's my business card. And he was like your overzealous realtor kind of guy. And it was like, he was actually a nice guy, but it was like, how about just introducing yourself? Getting to know somebody for a minute, and then show somebody what you're really made of, not blasting them with a fake version of who you are, but just giving the world the gift of the real version of who you are in here, not the one that goes, hey, oh, I got an idea in the meeting, but your hand starts to come up and you go, I might look like an idiot, or somebody might judge me, or no, step up. But you open up your mouth. Oh, so what? You might stumble all over yourself, make a mistake in what you say. Who cares? You broke through something. You went over the top of a hurdle. Okay? Instead of sitting there going, wish I had. Oh, man, I would have said. I love when people say, you know what I would have said. Or worse yet, when they embellish and they tell you what they said and you go, no, you didn't. I was right there. It's, with the after story, make your story match your after story. We've all done that, and it's human nature. You assist in an accident, or you help somebody, or something happens and you jump in, and you did this. By the time it's done, you were Superman. You landed off the building, you tipped the car over, you pulled everybody out, you ripped doors off, when in fact you went and called 911 and you talked to the people and made sure everything was okay. But it grew into this Superman cape story. Well, I like this. Here's my mindset. Okay? If you ever go back, and we all have stories we've told like that, admit it, do it. Go back and look at a story and go, this is a story I told, this is what really happened. And strive to be the story you told. Because when the story of your life is told, strive to be the one that you would tell. If you were embellishing, strive to have that as the real story, so that when you tell the real story, it is that magnificent you, that magnificent life, not having to embellish it because, well, the real story is boring. Okay, that's the whole key here. That's the whole result. Don't be the real story boring. Be the life that you almost have to undertell it, because nobody believe it if it was embellished. Nobody'd even believe how amazing it is, because it is that amazing, to where people go, wow, is that even true? Wouldn't you rather live the life where somebody goes, wow, isn't that even true, than the one where they're going, well, he's BSing again, didn't really do much, but he's making it into this mountain, or she's making it into this mountain of something it really wasn't. Well, how about doing your life like that? How about making your life that example where people go, oh my God, is that even real? Could somebody really accomplish that? Be that happy, be that confident, be that amazing person creating that kind of change, or a business that creates something that is so amazing that people go, oh my God, that is like outstanding. There it is. You don't want to be poor or bad at something. You don't want to be just good, because you don't get any results there. Excellence is great, but when you hit that level of outstanding, like you really stand out, and it's not for ego. It's, if it comes from that's who you really are, and that's what the level you're really operating at, you deserve some recognition. But it's not about getting the recognition. It's about knowing inside that you are the best at what you're doing, and you are giving your best. Does it mean you're perfect? No. Imperfect action leads to growth. Growth leads to better perfection. But you'll never be perfect, because perfect is a curse. okay? Because you can never maintain perfect. Being the best doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means you're your best at what you do. Guys, stop playing small. Live with faith, energy, passion. Always, and I mean always, live your dreams. Be blessed. This is Coach Lou. See you next time on the next roundabout. Catch all my live shows at lew.live and catch the replays for all Breakthrough with Lou. Get on over to our blog for that. I've got hundreds and hundreds of shows and trainings on there for you. And don't forget Coach Lou Inner Circle. Check it out, guys. I'd love to have you as part of this family. And we don't break the bank. We'll help you make bank, but we don't break the bank. Be blessed, guys. Ciao for now. Have an amazing day.
Ready to take it to the next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lou himself. As Coach Lou always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.